Welcome to all of you in Sankalp Education Pratham classes. I am Sachin Patil, delivered lecture series on new syllabus HSC. Next is mechanical properties of fluids. Mechanical properties of fluids, inside which we are going with the recall points. Importance of fluids in life. Second one is atmospheric pressure and feel excess pressure while swimming underwater. What are the most important related condition to that fluids? First of all, fluid is nothing but a substance that can flow. That means the substance which is flowed due to external excess pressure, at that time it is called as a fluid. And due to that, liquid and gases are collectively called as fluids, because liquid and gases both are flowing with external forces, and the rigidity of fluid is very low. That means no rigidity. What is rigidity? Rigidity is nothing but when external force, when external force applied to body, the distance between two particles remains as it is, remains as it is. What does it mean? That means when we apply the force on a body, at that time the distance between two particles of the body is does not changes. That means then substance is called as a rigid one, and here rigidity of fluid is very low, or it is a non-rigid. What does it mean? That means the rigid body, solid considered as a rigid body, but ideal rigid body is not available in universe, because each and every substance which is present in our universe, it is changes its dimension or shape when we act a little bit of force on it, and that time we will get the rigidity of substance is not considered. And we know that the fluids are flowing, and therefore they are acquired whatever the shape we have to provide it, and therefore the container shape is acquired by the fluid, and therefore fluid does not have a rigidity, and therefore it is a non-rigid or a very low rigidity to that one. And next one is we have to get going with the atmospheric pressure. What is it? It is a pressure of all gases in atmosphere, because we have to going from the surface of earth above, you will get the column of gases, and those gases provide the pressure on the surface of earth. At that time, the pressure exerted by the all gases in atmosphere, it is nothing but a pressure, atmospheric pressure. And at the sea level, all gases provide the pressure about 3600 mm and 1 kg per centimeter square, or it is a 1013.25 millibar. And those are the nothing but atmospheric pressure provided at the sea level by the atmospheric gases, which is overhead of man, or overhead of that earth. And due to, we know that the feeling excess pressure while swimming under the water, first of all we have to think about the air, and air has the very low resistance, and therefore you can easily move in the air. We can't moving through the solid, because solid the particles of solid are rigid, considered as a rigid, and therefore we can't going through the solid, because, and therefore we can't move inside the solid. But in liquid, molecules are spread away or weakly bonded with each other, and therefore we can going through the liquid, but it required some excess efforts when excess efforts when we are moving through that liquid, and it is due to the viscosity and surface tension. Due to surface tension and viscosity, liquid we will feel the excess pressure while swimming under the water. And we know that the fluid is most important, because we know that our body require water daily, 6 liters, approximately 6 liters at that time. It is a one fluid, and which is very important for the which is very important to maintain the acidity in our body, and therefore this fluid is most important in our life. Another one is nothing but our body. Inside the body, you know that we know that the 7 liters of blood, and which is useful for transformation of different minerals, different substances towards this tissue, and collect the all excess or harmful particles from our body tissues. And therefore the fluid is most important. And in mechanics we know that there will be a friction between two different parts of the machine, and at that time to become maintain it a smooth friction, smooth between two parts. At that time we will use oil to lubricant or different thing, which is nothing but a fluid, and therefore fluid is most important in our life. And those are the recall points, or those are the recall points related to our mechanical properties of fluids. Right now we are going with the next consideration as follow. Now we are going with a fluid, and a fluid is nothing but, we know that any substance that can flow is a fluid. And fluid deforms continuously under action of external force. And fluid is phase of matter that contain liquid, gas and plasmas. What does it mean? Plasma is nothing but it is a gases, ions, free electrons and neutral atoms. We have to consider here gases, gas of ions. It is a gas of ions, free electrons and neutral atoms. Neutral atoms are there. Inside this we will going with the consideration of, once again we are thinking about the fluid is nothing but what? Fluid is nothing but any substance that can flow. It is called as a fluid, which is already known to you inside the recall points. Fluid deforms continuously. What is the deformation? That means change in shape and size. At that time you will get the deformation in the body. And fluid deforms continuously under the action of external force. When we apply the external force, at that time fluid changes its shape and size, and therefore fluid deforms continuously under the action of external force. Fluid is a phase of matter that contain liquid, gas and plasma. That means fluid contain liquid, gas and plasma is nothing but a gas of ions, free electrons and atoms. Neutral atoms are there. Now we know that the concentration of liquid Now inside this mechanical properties we are going with the now inside this we in mechanical properties of fluids we are considered liquid and gases only, and does not considered we have to going with not considered with the plasma here. We have to going with just only liquid and gases are here. We here the shear modulus of fluid is 0. Shear modulus of fluid is 0. First of all, what is the mean of shear modulus? Shear modulus is nothing but a resistance of a body or substance which can resist or which can it is a internal force, or shear modulus is nothing but what is mean fluids are a substance. Fluids are substance cannot resist any shear force. What is it meant by any shear force? Is here any shear force applied on it. What is it mean by shear force? Shear force is nothing but a force which can changes the substance shape and size. At that time we are considered it is as a shear force, and fluid substance cannot resist any shear force to applied it. We know that when we considered a rubber, at that time we have to use the shear force or deforming force. The deforming force changes the length of the rubber. At that time there will be a change, there will be a restoring force inside the rubber which can resist the body to its original dimension, and therefore it is nothing but a shear force. And shear force, the resistance against the shear force is does not having inside the fluid substance, and therefore shear modulus of a fluid is 0 is here. And we know that the different examples related to that one is nothing but air, dough, toothpaste, etc. are the fluids, and there will be no any shear force which is applied which cannot resist the fluid substances, and therefore the fluid is nothing but a fluid. Now we are going with the next point is nothing but a concept of an ideal fluid. We know that the behavior of fluid in motion is difficult and it is a complicated, which is not studied in clearly inside the motion fluid in motion condition, and therefore to understand the behavior of that fluids, thus we are going with the ideal fluid, and therefore ideal fluid is considered for understanding the behavior of the fluids, and therefore you will get the consideration of ideal fluid has the following properties. First property is nothing but it is incompressible. What does it mean? It is incompressible means the density is a constant. That means the fluid having the constant density, and at that time it is incompressible. Its flow is irrotational. That means a flow of liquid or fluid flow is smooth. It is not turbulent. What is turbulent? It is not rough like seawater. The surface of seawater is rough at that time. It is smoothly moving. That means flow of river where the deepness is large. At that time the flow is smooth but deepness is small. At that time flow of river is very harsh, and at that time it is a turbulent flow. It is thus the ideal fluid has the property. Second property is its flow is irrotational. Then it is non-viscous. That means there is no internal internal friction in flow. What does it mean? That means the viscosity of a fluid is very low or non-viscous. That means the internal friction between the two surfaces of liquid, it is very small, and there will be no internal friction in the flow or layers of the liquid, and its flow is steady. What does it mean? That means velocity at each point is constant. That means the velocity of flow in a liquid is steady. That means the velocity at each point is a constant. Those are the four properties related to your ideal fluid. That means ideal fluid, it is useful to know about the behavior of a fluid, because a fluid in a motion, it is difficult to understand the behavior of a fluid, and therefore we will consider the ideal fluid. And ideal fluid having these four properties: it is a compressible, its flow is irrotational, it is a non-viscous, its flow is steady. And you will know that the incompressible, that means the density is a constant. Irrotational flow, that means flow is smooth, not turbulent. And non-viscous, no internal friction in the flow. And velocity at each point is a constant. If you like that video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon to get the next notification related to that lecture series. Thank you.